Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid News. Man, listen. I came across this video yesterday, and it bothered me, right? I'm working on a new video project thing right here soon, and I'm going to be putting out some more cartoons soon. So, you know what I mean? Like, yo, stay tuned. We got some stuff coming up. But I wanted to talk about the warrior class, right? Because this dude here is discussing how, like, it's dying, and I don't think he has his understandings properly, right? You know, not trying to shit on the dude at all, you know, that's not what it's hitting for in any way, you know what I'm saying? That's not what it's looking at the moment, right? But on the same point, I kind of do want to, like, speak my mind on some of this shit, because I'll be honest with you, like, these guys, right, they don't understand, you know what I mean, some basic stuff. And it's important that you do understand some basic stuff, because when the lure of money is involved, right, where, like, you know, we don't really pay, like, soldiers a lot, because, you know, I mean, soldiering is expensive, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. And in not paying soldiers a lot, what ends up happening is like, you have to do things because, like, yo, you have something you want to stand for, and they don't, there's nothing to stand for anymore. But let's get into this, you know what I'm saying? We'll fucking bang this out. Let's rock.
It's a tremendous amount to me. This episode, as usual, is brought to you by me, inspired by my man Chili. We're going to talk about something here on this episode, and that is the fact that I believe the warrior class of society is dying rapidly or nearly dead. And I'll tell you a little story first. When I was going through SEAL training in first phase, there's a little thing called Hell Week. It's starts Sunday night, ends Friday evening. You stay up, you get beat down. It's really, really freaking hard. It's where the majority of people quit. And when I was going through BUDS or SEAL training, every single class got to create a class shirt. All right. And you got to have that shirt go into print once the class made it through Hell Week. And there were at least some people left. And it was a tradition. And there used to be a little shop down on Coronado Island in California that had every single BUDS class shirt in the shop. We all went to the same screen printer. They would do the design for us, and then they would, you know, give the shirts to the class and put the print in the shop. So you could go in there and you could see every single BUDS class shirt design going way, way back. And it was funny. I was talking to my buddy the other day, David Charbonnet, that I went through BUDS with, and he still lives out in San Diego and does some work there at NSW, some ministry work, and Naval Special Warfare, that's NSW. And he said the BUDS classes don't do class shirts anymore. That's not a thing anymore. And why does this even matter, man? I'm going to get to that. Had to tell you all that story. But I say the warrior class is dying. I truly believe that we as a nation are about one generation away from being incapable of fighting or defending ourselves. In other words, the citizens of this nation, there will not be enough young people left who are actually capable of fighting and defending this nation. And that's pretty wild, man. That's going to mean, well, our military's...
All right, so let's discuss this, right? There's a reason for this, all right? And the reason for this is that there's nothing worth fighting for, right? Number one. And number two, manhood is dying. What do I mean? Up until probably the 1990s, what it meant to be a man, right, had, like, causal shit behind it, right? So, like, you had things you had to pass, and a lot of things, you know, like, oh, I'm a Catholic, you had to be confirmed, things of this nature, right? You know what I mean? You know, you had to, like, stand here and have a family. You had to have a wife. You had to have, you know what I'm saying? You had to be able to, you know what I mean, like, hold down a job. You had to stand here and be able to, you know what I mean, swing a sword properly. You had to win a fight. You had to do, like, whatever it was throughout society, throughout history, throughout cultures, right? And in our culture, we have no measuring stick of what manhood is, right? We don't have anything that, like, even remotely matters about what manhood is, right? We don't have that basic measuring stick. We don't have like anything as far as traditions and cultures, right? Because that holds us back from a capitalist economy. I'm not a communist, nothing misunderstood. But on the same point, like, we're humans, right? We're human beings. Like, we're supposed to have like families and traditions and communities and cultures and all these things, right? And the problem is that like our warrior class, right, especially the military guys, because I talk to military guys all the time, and they are the fucking worst about this shit, right? Because they're like, what about freedom and my freedom and freedom and freedom, right? Like, your freedom of what? Have guns, bro? Like, is that all the fucking matters in the end of the day? What about your freedom to be a man? Your freedom to like dictate how your family goes, dictate what happens inside your home. What about like your freedom to like say what happens with your kids? What about all these fucking freedoms that actually matter, right? What about the authority of the man? What about all these things? Well, we gotta have women to have blah, 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 blah. This is why, right? Like, legitimately, this is why. Like, you sold away your traditions. You sold away your culture. You sold away your community. You sold away your family, right? And so, like, now we just have a whole bunch of pod-living bug men, you know what I mean, who fucking sit around and play video games all day long, right? It's one of the videos I got coming up here soon, right? It's gonna be, breaking down the different types of people in America, right? You know what I mean? And I'd say a full 60 to 70% of our country at this point is either rootless cosmopolitans, rootless suburbanites, or like fucking pod-living bugmen motherfuckers, right? Just gamers who just all they care about is video games. And that's kind of where we are right now. Is that everybody just wants to play video games and, you know what I mean, like sit on their fucking ass and eat Doritos and live in a fucking cubicle, right? And the individuals who you would have defend your country at this point, what are they fighting for? What? A society, a country that fucking hates their guts? You know what I mean? Like, what are we fighting for here, son? You know what I mean? Like, what is the economic value? What is the social capital that you're going to give the individuals to go fight these fucking wars? To go and fucking serve your fucking country? Why would you keep your body in shape to do this type of stuff, right? Like, real shit. Why would you do that? And real shit. Like, the reason why, like, the warrior class as a whole is dying has a lot to do with the warriors. Keeping it 100, like, what do y'all stand for? I've never heard a military guy stand for anything other than like continuing this bullshit system that continues to fuck over the average person at this point. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this is the problem. Like, y'all have no thought pattern about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you wonder why the fuck your shit's dying, like why your traditions are dying, why all this stuff's dying. This is why. You don't believe in anything. Like, real shit. Like, you had this fairy tale belief about fucking Washington and Jefferson, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't even fucking read Adams, right? And like, nobody has any idea about any of this stuff, about like what is the general purpose of all this, right? Like, what is the reason for all these things? We don't even have these conversations on some basic shit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it just is what it is. Right? And when you have like, you know, guys like Ron DeSantis, you know what I mean, I think he was a SEAL. Right. I know he served like 100 Marine, something like that. I forget. Don't really remember. But either way, when you have these military guys coming through, and then you have like Dan Crenshaw, you know, Patchy McGee, right, coming out and talking about red flag laws and all this type of shit. Like, yo, what is the purpose of the military, right? Like, other than like, you know, the Call of Duty type of shit. Like, what is it that, you know, what are you defending? Like, I understand, like, oh, capitalism pulled, you know, like, fucking, you know, like 5 billion people out of poverty, blah, 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 all that stupid shit. But, like, have you been to the Rust Belt and seen what the fuck it has looked like in the past 30 years? Like, it's fucking terrible, right? Like, it's fucking bad. You know, and these are things that, like, oh, man, listen, but everybody has an air conditioner and everybody has, you know what I mean, a cell phone. Yeah, but motherfuckers can't pay their rent. There's people sleeping under every bridge in this country. Like, do we not want to have this conversation? Do you not want to talk about the fact that, like, you can't send your kid to school without there being rainbow flags all over the place and propaganda to try and tell them it's okay to be a homosexual? Is that what you want? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want to continue to have single moms fucking just like filling their kids' mouths full of goddamn fucking Doritos and fucking cheeseburgers and shit? Is that what you want? Is that what you're fighting for? Again, Why is the warrior class dying? I'm gonna fucking turn that camera around, son. You know what I mean? Like, real shit. Let's keep rocking.
It's already collapsing, and when that happens, when we can't defend our own nation because we have become so weak, we all know what follows after that. Why is this happening? Well, the reason I told you that story is because warrior culture is steeped in tradition, and those traditions have pretty much all went away, right? And whether it's something as simple as having a Hell Week t-shirt in SEAL training, which is a pipeline that develops.
Hang on. It's funny to me, right? It's funny to me, right? Like, look, when everybody else in America goes, my traditions, right? And y'all go, we're Americans, fuck your traditions, right? It's funny to me that, like, you get upset when your traditions are fucking thrown away, right? Like, it's funny to me, right? That is fucking hilarious to me, right? Because, you threw away all the traditions of your fucking, of your ancestors. Legitimately, right? Like, it's like, this is why the warrior class is dying. Right here. Right? You know why your fucking grandfather was a fucking warrior? Why my grandfather was a warrior? Right? You know why? Right? It was because, like, they were the men of their family, and they wanted to go defend their family, right? Truth be told, let's put all the cards on the table. America has not fought a defensive war since we'll call it 1860, right, with the Civil War. Maybe we can talk about the Spanish-American War. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit, maybe, right? But that was really Spain. That wasn't Mexico, right? You're talking about the Mexican-American War, you know what I mean? Let me talk about that a little bit. But, like, real shit, we haven't fought a defensive war in, like, since the Civil War. Every war we've gotten into has been a war for our own geopolitical motherfucking, like, the State Department's geopolitical ends. Had nothing to do with us. Like, real shit, nothing. And, like, because we're not Europeans, in the end of the day, we're Americans, all right? Like, I'm an Appalachian, like, my family's from fucking Calabria, Italy, right? But, like, yeah, I carry on a lot of those traditions from those fucking people. I do. Mannerisms, like, fucking ways I eat, things of this nature, how I cook, how I tell my children, how I organize my family, things like this, right? Which holds us back in the system. And I'm fucking real fine with that. And like, keeping that 100, I'm fucking perfectly good with that. Right? Because I'll be honest with you, I would much rather fail in the capitalist system than continue to fucking have my family, like, have nothing to fall back on. Right? This is how it works. You know what I mean? Because in the end of the day, my sons are going to come up, and my sons come to me and they go, Dad, you was right. That's how it works, bro. It's how it works, son. You know what I mean? Like, because I love them no matter what happens. Right? We family. It's how families work. Right? Most of these bug men are like, fuck your family. What are you fighting for, son? What are your people fighting for? Where's your traditions? Like, where's your family's traditions on you? Like, real shit. What do you do to traditional to your family? These are the things. Listen, you have to honor all traditions or none at all. One of the two. All right? And I realize that, like, that sounds bad. You know what I mean? To, like, a lot of bugmen, a lot of liberals are going to go, but women were treated bad and black people and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't. Because what worked for, like, I don't know, 6,000 or 7,000 years will continue to work for the next 20,000 years. What's worked for the past 30 will not, because the world has changed repeatedly. We had a great piece of history from 1990 till fucking, like, 2018. That's fucking over with now. Time to go back. We don't know what we're going back to, because we fucking sold all of our shit off. This is why the warrior, Brad, listen, I know, like, these ideas are foreign to you, Brad, if you ever watch this video, whatever. These ideas are foreign to you. These ideas you need to put in your fucking head and start thinking about, because it's highly important shit. Right? Highly important shit that you really need to fucking put in your brain and go, what am I fighting for? Right? At the end of the day, like, yo, look around. Look around your fucking country that you fought for and tell me this is what you want. Tell me that this is, you know what I mean, something you want to continue. Because I don't think it is. Deep in your heart, you know that visual reaction you have when you see a, you know what I mean, a tranny running around your goddamn streets and teaching your kids. That's not something you want. Like, real shit. It's not something any of us wants. And you got to pretend and act like, well, you know, Constitution. Fuck that Constitution. Fuck that freedom nonsense. Family is more important than any document, son. Your blood is more important than any document. The blood your brothers shed for you and with you. Over there in them motherfucking in them deserts and shit where you were at, because I know you ain't fucking serving no jungle. You know what I mean? You ain't old enough to be a Vietnam vet. But again, in the mountains in fucking Kandahar, I know, right? Real shit. That blood's way more important than that document, dog. And it always will be, regardless of whether or not you remembered. Let's keep rocking.
Warriors, whether it's that a simple tradition like that, or it's, you know, when I was a new guy in the SEAL team, we got freaking hazed, man. We got treated like crap. It was straight up hazing. That is tradition, man. That's no longer allowed. We have destroyed or gotten rid of all tradition, especially within the warrior culture. We've traded those traditions in for the sake of freaking political correctness and wokeness, and we've abandoned that. And I don't believe that you can have a warrior culture. You cannot forge that level of pride and dedication without having some deep and long-standing traditions that aren't going to look.
All right, so let me talk to you. Right, this is highly important that you understand this. Right. Liberalism is the religion of the merchant class, right? It's a religion of the management class. Now, the merchant class in you know what I mean, in Europe back in the day, right? That formed the revolutions, that formed the democracies that you see today, right? The French Revolution, the British Revolution, right? All this stuff, right? The Italian Reform, German, all this type of stuff. American Revolution, right? These are liberal ideas, okay? Now, these liberal ideas are the process that these merchants wanted to be able to have the freedom to not be part of a community, not be part of a family, not be part of a nation, right? Fuck a country, nation. Nation's important. That's a word. It's kind of misunderstood, right? Because like your nation's your people. Got nothing to do with the geography. Right? I'm an Appalachian. I'm part of the Appalachian Nation. I'm not fucking California has nothing to do with me. I'm not a Californian. I'm not really, you know, like I'm an American, but like that's kind of like post-secondary to shit, right? And I'm an Appalachian first. I'm a mountain person. I go hike and I go fish and I go fucking hunting and I grow food and I got ducks and chickens out back, right? I'm an Appalachian. I eat things like Appalachians do. I'm also a Pennsylvanian, right? My nation of people, okay? Important to understand. Now, these cosmopolitan people, right? These liberal merchants, right? Wanted to be able to be divorced from their nation, right? Not to have to deal with the traditions. The management class took this when we ended up having the Industrial Revolution, and what they did is they stood here and they took that idea that I don't want to have to deal with these type of things, right? And they took it to its end, where it's like, look, if you want to stand here and have these people be able to like go into like the fucking military, right? You want to have the most amount of people possible so you can choose who you want. That means that you need to be as welcoming as possible. It's the same thing they do. This is why, like, this political correctness, which, you know, what you would call, you know what I mean, like what other people call wokeness, right? What that really is them trying to fit as many people into the corporate offices and the advertising structure and the consuming structure of every corporation, right? So that's why, you know, be welcoming of trans and gay people, whatever, women and all this type of stuff, right? Whatever it is, right? You know what I mean? And like, you know, midget, Alaskan, you know, hobos with 3 legs or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? They want to have as many people as possible. Right? Same thing with the military. That's what's going on. That's what all this shit is. Right? So, the problem is, though, in having this, and this is what's known as infinite growth. This is an infinite growth structure. When you have this, you end up selling out all the things that make you a human being, make you part of a family, make you part of a community, part of a nation. right? All those traditions. This is where all this shit comes from. And it's important to understand these fucking basic facts, just basic things, right? Now, does this give us high growth and economic potential? Yes, it does. Is it good for us? No, it's not. This is kind of the problem. Is this good for a little homosexual fucking bugmen kid who play video games and like dress up like, you know what I mean, fucking foxes? Yes, it is. It's good for them. It's great for them. Because that means they never have to have like the things that we went through to become the men we are be done to them. They don't have to deal with any of that shit. That's important. Right? It's important to understand who they're looking at. Like, yo, this is what all this shit is. Right? This is what everything is in the end of the day. And now all these people who institute these type of things, these are individuals who were very compliant in the school institution system, right? These are individuals who, you know what I mean, like these are management class people, right? I understand it's an important concept to get, right? These are State Department, Upper Pentagon people, right? These are management bureaucrats. Same with the corporations. They're people who went and got their MBA or their, you know what I mean, their fucking doctorate, right? Even. And they were willing not just to go to school for like, you know, the 13 years, which by the way is fucking abuse in the first place, but another 4 or like even fucking 8 after, right? That's 21 years or 17, either way it goes, right? Bachelor's 17, you know, doctorate's 21 fucking years. Master's 21 years. Doctorate's fucking 20 fucking 6 years, 25 years. These are very compliant people. They're never going to break the box. You're never going to break the mold. They're never going to do nothing really interesting in their life that's outside of some things. Because they're very compliant people. They're the most compliant people on earth. Right? And in being the most compliant people on earth, they're the weakest. They're the hall monitors. Important for you to understand what this is. Right? Maybe some of your fucking subs will see this, you know what I mean? You can understand the concepts behind all this shit. Right? And understand how all this works. Right? This is what all this is. That's why they're throwing away your traditions, because they don't fucking want them. They don't want their kids to have to go through these traditions. Because they see it as being discriminatory towards them. They see it as being a hardship upon them. And we can get that. And I mean, we can, like, being parents, you know, I can understand, you know what I mean? You don't want your kids to, like, you fucking fall every time they do. But I know that's the hard times that make you strong. It's not the good ones. I know that with my sons. I know that with my daughters. Let's keep rocking.
Normal to society. So, our civilian society, people outside the warrior culture. The second reason is I think that we have so watered down the word warrior, and even combat, right? We want to say freaking ultra runners are warriors. We want to say, you know, people that fight in the MMA are warriors. We want to say football players are warriors. We've so watered down the concept of what a freaking warrior is, man. A warrior is a person who dedicates their freaking, this is my definition, the warrior culture is a person who has dedicated their lives to studying tactics, techniques, and procedures that are used to destroy an enemy.
Let me ask you something, dog. And this is highly important for, you know what I mean, you to understand. Important question that you need to ask yourself, right? These men, right? NFL football players, boxers, fuck the MMA, bunch of man-hugging dudes. No, I'm only playing. Like, yeah, MMA guys, right? All these guys, right? Who dedicated their lives, right, to grinding it out, maintaining, like, the proper physique and the tactics and all these type of things, right? To build their body to compete with other men. Which ones of them and you speak out the most about bullshit that's going on? Which ones of them and you help other individuals in their like nation. Just want them to stand with the other people in their nation. Because like I can tell you, been quite a few of all these people who like legitimately have lost their fucking jobs, lost their fucking careers, lost all the shit behind standing up, whether or not you agree with it. All right? Fuck the bullshit. Whether or not you agree with it. How many of them have fucking stood there and lost everything behind standing up for their traditions, their people, their nation, their family back home, all these type of things? A lot. A lot. Right? Taking political stances, things of this nature. Saying shit that people ain't gonna like, regardless of what Colin Kaepernick said and all that nonsense. Like, yo, he said it. He was willing to stand up and make a say. And he changed the world in fucking doing so. More than most ever one single soldiers really have. Are they warriors? Yes, they are. You gotta respect that. Right? Regardless. Had these fucking flies, man. I swear to God. Right? They're warriors. I understand that, like, you want to have respect on your shit. You're a soldier. It's what you are. You're not a warrior. You're a soldier. Okay? Navy SEALs, Marines, Army, fucking infantrymen, Air Force pilot. They're soldiers. Right? It's what you are. You're a soldier. And that's great. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And we need soldiers. 100%. Right? Call yourself a fucking warrior? What do you stand for us? You stand for, like, defending the corporate oligarchy. You don't really stand for us. That's a bit of a problem when I want to call you a warrior. Let's keep rocking, though, man.
Another human being in true mortal combat. That's what a warrior is. So we've watered down that. We've watered down the idea of that. And that's all through our language. Our language is important. We have elevated these freaking pseudo warriors, these sports players and crap. We've elevated them in our society above the status of the true warrior, the one who risks his or her life in true combat, or at least puts forth themselves and dedicates their life to the study of combat. We have generally disrespected and forgotten those individuals, and we've elevated and idolized these pseudo warriors, so-called warriors, to the top of the food chain. And that's all a bunch of freaking bullcrap, man. That's not the way it should be. If you want a strong nation and you want to raise up a generation who can still fight savagely and defend what belongs to us as Americans. Bring back freaking tradition, man. If you have tradition, stand on it, dude. Screw all these freaking woke, political correct people and agendas out here. I love you guys. If you got anything out of this episode, go buy.
Yeah, I love it, man. As I said, they don't get it, man. They don't understand it. They probably never will, but it's all right, man. Like, yo, it's all right. They ain't never going to get any of this stuff because, like, yo, they've been indoctrinated with garbage, right? Most of them, like, they lost their accents. They lost their, their family, their tradition, right? Like 2,222 people a day, kill themselves. And they still haven't, like stood up and said, listen, we're not going to continue to like allow our wives to leave us while we're overseas. We're not going to stand here and allow this shit to continue the way it is. Like, yo, they don't fucking fix the goddamn problems and shit. Like it is what it is. Like, yo, they just go, man, like, fucking blah, 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 fucking America. They don't want to have any type of other conversation. Because, like, yo, they go, this is what we fought and died for. It's like, no, it's not what you fought and died for. You fought and died for your family. Fuck the country. Our government's trash. Right? Like, what do you care about San Francisco? What the fuck do you give a shit about Portland for? Those aren't your people. I don't even know where the fuck you're from, but I know it ain't there. Right? Those ain't your people. Fight for your family. You fight for your kids. You fight for your brothers, your mom, your dad. That's who you fight for. That's who you're coming to represent. Stop thinking it's about the country, because it's not. It's so dumb. Like, yo, man, listen. And by the way, nobody will ever invade America. Like, it's patently fucking impossible. 800 million fucking firearms in our hands. You think somebody's gonna come and invade? Are you fuck crazy? Yeah, get over the Rockies and the Appalachian Mountains, and you don't know if you know about the Appalachians, son. We are serious out here. Like, yo, chill. I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. I'm up out of here. Peace.